What's up, everybody? This is Unc's Corner. This is your host, Roy. I'm back with another episode this week. It's going to be a great episode. Great topic this week. Going to be talking about Steph Curry. Does he deserve the hate that he's receiving? I'm going to dig into that. But first, we're going to start this show off with our plug of the week. And the plug this week, those of you that are watching on YouTube, this sweatshirt that I have on from Haberdash ONE. This is an Omaha, Nebraska-based brand. It's men's clothing, but there's also a few options for women as well. They got sweatshirts, t-shirts, some joggers, jackets, hats, shoes, you name it, they got it. You can follow them on all socials at Haberdash ONE. If you're interested in ordering a clothing item, you can go to haberdashone.com. That's HABERDASHONE.com. You can order, ships all over the nation. It's a great brand, great quality. You will not regret it. So make sure you support and let them know that I sent you. Let them know that Unc's Corner, you heard about it on Unc's Corner, and you decided to make a purchase. So black-owned company, so make sure you support. So now we're going to jump into the story of the day. This is basically something that's happened to me either over the course of a week or something that's just kind of crossed my mind that I wanted to bring to the forefront. And this so happens to just coincide with the topic of today, and that is proving people wrong by just performing well. Over the course of my life, there's been times where I've been doubted in different situations, been looked over, and I just had to keep my mouth shut and keep moving forward. I've been told that I wasn't qualified for jobs that I've gotten and excelled in. I've been told that I wouldn't graduate from college because I had a rocky start. I've heard many of things, but none of those things deterred me from reaching my goals, and I've reached them time and time again, thankfully. I'm just being determined and having that will to succeed at whatever cost. That's just how I'm built. That's how many people are built. And to those that allow people to get the best of them by their words and doubting them, I just encourage you all to continue to press forward. Nobody's words can deter you. They don't determine where you'll go in life. They don't determine where you'll be in life. So if you keep on striving towards your goals and stay focused, you will get there. You will meet your goals. You will succeed and you will excel. So I encourage you all to never lose sight of that. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Never doubt yourself. Moving right along, perfect transition into the topic of this week, which is Steph Curry. Is he deserving of the hate, the doubt that he has been receiving? And right here, I gotta bust it out. Get your popcorn ready, because I am somebody that believes fully in Steph Curry's abilities and never doubted him. People have been, we're just gonna start off like this. The odds have been against this man from the beginning of the season. Clay goes out. He's coming back from injury, point blank. Steph's coming back from injury. So there's that. Steph is coming back healthy. Clay's supposed to be coming back healthy. And then right before the draft, boom, news that he gets hurt. Gets hurt. So there's something against him right there. Boom. Can he do it without Clay? Then coming into the season, Draymond, hurt. Can he do it without Clay and Draymond? Those are the questions that were up against him. Then don't even add in the fact that the first two games of this season, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and the Brooklyn Nets. Championship contender. 2 All-Stars, 2 Superstars, 2 champions. Warriors get blown out the water by, 25, 26. Steph has 20 and 10 that night. Game number 2, Christmas Day. Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis, Chris Middleton, and the crew. Number 1 in the East last year. Championship contender. Steph by himself. They get blown out the water by almost 40. Steph has 19 and 6. Now we're going to follow that game up with, Chicago and Detroit, teams that, he should beat. And they do. Steph drops 36 and 31 in those games respectfully. Leads the team in points and assists. Follow that up with a game against Portland. Going against Dame, CJ, Melo, and the crew. They're another playoff contender. They get beat by almost 30. Steph has 26 and 5. This is where it all starts. This is where you hear all the noise. Does Steph still got it? Is he able to carry a team? Is he overrated? All this noise from every angle, questioning Steph's ability. If he's anybody without Clay, without Draymond. Now at this time, Draymond had just came back, I believe, against Portland. I think that was his first game back. And he does next to nothing. I don't even think he scores. So all the noise, and then the quote comes out with Dame. It doesn't depict how the full conversation that Dame had, but the quote that was pulled from it was basically, Steph's going to find out that it's hard. It's going to be harder for him to get his buckets than it has been over the past 4 or 5 years, which is true. It's very true. Without Clay spacing the floor, without Draymond out there consistently, being a facilitator and things like that, it's going to be more difficult for Steph to get his shots off. I mean, it's a fact. It's no slight against him, but rightfully so. Steph should take it as disrespect. With so many people doubting him, speaking against him, he should take it as disrespect, and he should come out and prove them wrong. As he did. He comes out that next game. He has another game against Portland. Comes out there, drops 62 on their head. 62. Now, I'm going to put this out there as well. This is the only game just thus far this season that Steph didn't lead the team in points and assists. Every other game, he led them in points and assists. This game, also quoted by Draymond Green, as Steph did not look to pass at all, and he shouldn't have. Draymond led the team in assists with 8. But this man came out there and dropped a career-high 62 on that same Portland team that just beat them by almost 30 2 nights before. And then he follows that up with another 39 and 8 game, which he leads the team in all 3 categories. So, put the 62-point game aside. Prior to, Steph was averaging 26 points a game. That's no slight. He put up 26 points a game, and people are questioning if he still got it, if he can still get his buckets. Like, yes, he had to put more shots up. Yes, his percentages may have been a little bit lower. But this is the start of the season. He's been out for the better part of last season, and he's just coming back healthy this year. So these first few games, I get that he could have been a little rusty. His shot was off. He had to get his timing just like anybody else in the league. But still, this man was averaging 26 points, which I would say is likely in the top 10 in the NBA. Now he's the second leading scorer after that 62-point game. And it's like, don't doubt this man. He's been proving people wrong his entire career. I mean, coming out of college, he was overlooked. Did major work with his Davidson team. Proved people wrong. Coming into the league, people were saying he was too small. He wouldn't make it. Overlooked. He's an all-star. Multiple-time all-star. 2-time MVP. um, 3-time champion. Like, why do they continue to overlook this man and continue with the disrespect? You know, it's like he's taking on a whole new role this year. You know, he's coming in, you know, like I've already stated before, without his all-stars. You know, and one thing that I've said for many years, Draymond's a good player. Draymond is not an all-star. He benefits from being on a great team, and he plays a great role of that team. But he's no all-star. He, like we seen last year, like when Steph and Clay was out, we seen what he can do, which is next. I mean, he does exactly what he does. He doesn't raise that level to show that he's that all-star that can carry his team to some wins. He's not that guy. So just that alone, seeing that without Steph, see how those things can go. He's not an all-star player, y'all. Like he benefits from the great regular seasons that the Golden State has had over the last few years. He plays a great role. You know, he's a double, triple-double threat. But come on now, don't get it twisted. He ain't no all-star player like that, and he showed that, you know, thus far this year. Like, you can say he's getting his feet under him, but everybody is. I mean, for you to go scoreless in 2 of the 3 games that you were back, that's inexcusable. You know, you gotta contribute at least a little bit more offensively if you're an all-star player that they're saying he is. Despite all that, you know, Steph's role this year is to build confidence in his young core. He's been, you know, trying to get his teammates involved early. I mean, people can look at that as a mistake. I mean, I think if you're the man, you got to showcase that. You know, in the West, you can't, you know, almost every game matters. You can't really risk, you know, trying to facilitate and make sure your young guys are confidence is getting built up game by game. In some games, you just gotta from Jump Street, you gotta come out pedal to the metal and be in attack mode, as he did with the 62-point performance. But I also understand that as a leader, any good leader will do what it takes to make sure that the team around him understands that, you know, this is a championship. This is a champion. You know, this is a championship organization. They've been successful for half of this decade. And so anything less than that type of effort, anything less than that type of performance isn't acceptable. You know, whether the outside looks at it as if they don't have a shot to be successful this year or not, that's the standard in Golden State. You know, I mean, realistically, you know, without Clay, things get a little cloudy, but, you know, Steph is still there. You know, Draymond is still there. So, you know, he's trying to raise the level of his young guys, and it's looking like they're starting to build some confidence. You know, they haven't been hitting shots, but as they continue to shoot those shots, they're going to make them. I mean, they're all professionals at the end of the day. So I think the more that he continues to push them and embolden them to, you know, take those shots, to be aggressive, I think they're going to surprise some people. Steph is a great leader, so they're going to surprise some people this year. You know, those that are doubting him, they're going to regret it when the year ends. If he stays healthy, if he stays in attack mode, if he plays that MVP quality, that MVP caliber game that he is still able to do, I think they can squeak into that, you know, 7-6 seed, a 7th or 6th seed, and squeak into the playoffs. I fully think that the way that Steph is performing and the way that Wiseman is developing quickly, if Wiggins can stay more consistent, he hasn't really produced at a level that I would like him to at this point. But I mean, he has that ability to score 20 points a game. He just has to be more efficient on the defensive end. I think this team will be just fine. They can squeak into the playoffs, and who knows? You know, they have a shooter's chance. They're not gonna upset any Lakers or Clippers or anything like that. But hey, anything after that, if they can get to that 6 seed and play a 3, they had a chance. I think it's kind of up in the air after those initial top 2 seeds. So I think they're going to be all right. And Steph is not deserving of the hate that is thrown his way. He's doing what he can with what he has. They've been drawing these comparisons to LeBron. Like, if LeBron had this team, he would blah, blah, blah. But LeBron is a 6'8" force of nature. He had to play similar when it came to, getting his teammates involved. So they have a similar leadership style in which they're looking to get their teammates involved and building their confidence up. But yeah, there's just some things that he can't do that LeBron can do. I mean, just physically, he's unable to do it. So to say what LeBron would do with this team versus what Steph is doing with his team, it's not even lot. It's not. They're not in the same stratosphere. We're not gonna kid ourselves. LeBron is one of the top 2-3 best players of all time. Steph's one of the best of all time, but he's not a LeBron. So to compare those two like that is, it's idiotic. Because he's, although he's not a LeBron, he's elevated this organization to a whole new level. Prior to when he got there, they made a little noise, with the We Believe team. But since Steph has been there, they've been on the up and up, and that can't be debated. It's, just look at the stats. He's been there. So the hate that Steph is receiving is idiotic. He's one of the best in the game, has been for a decade. He's going to be fine. He's got many more years. When Clay's back, they'll be right back in the hunt. So this is just a year of him, just getting those guys around him, at a higher level, making them better than what they were last year. Wiseman's going to be a key piece to the future of this franchise. Defensively, they should be fine with guys like Oubre and Wiggins if he develops, and Draymond. And this is a team that they're just missing their other star, and once he's back, they're going to be right back in the hunt. So stop with all the Steph hate. The chef, he's back in the kitchen, he's cooking, and hey, he's gonna have a few masterpieces out there. He's gonna have a few, regular dishes. But Steph is Steph. You know what you're gonna get out of him, and he's gonna hoop. So let's put that to bed. Steph is back. We're glad he's back. His basketball is better when he's in the game. So let's just take that hate, remove that hate. Let's appreciate him. Let's get behind him. Let's cheer him on, because the game misses him when he's not there. So let's get beyond that, y'all. All right. So we're going to transition to football a little bit. One of the bigger stories, which is sad that it is a big story because this division is trash, which is the NFC least. One of the bigger stories of this past week, really been over the past 4 weeks, but it's really getting louder now, is Carson Wentz. I'm a semi-Eagles fan. I'm a big time Chiefs fan. That's my team. That's my favorite team. In any sport, that's my squad, like hands down. But in the NFC, I've always rooted for the Eagles. I was a fan of Donovan McNabb when he was in Philly. And then when Michael Vick was there, after McNabb left, I was a fan. And I kind of just keep my eye on him because, when it comes to football, I kind of stick to my team. So Chiefs are my AFC. Philly is my NFC. So I kind of keep an eye on them. And so when they won that championship, I was excited for them. I was happy for them. Didn't celebrate like I did last year with the Chiefs, but I was extremely happy for Philly. They've been close for so many years. prior to that, in the McNabb era. Should have had one, but, I digress. So this whole thing with Wentz and wanting to demand a trade, saying the relationship with the team is broken. Like, dude, my biggest issue, one of the biggest issues I had with him, is the fact that he came out saying that he has no desire of being a backup. With the way this dude played this year, granted, his weapons aren't all that. His line wasn't the greatest. But this dude was the most sacked through, I think he was 1-for-1 ratio with touchdowns, interceptions, fumbling. Like, you didn't play well enough to say anything about what your desire is. You played awful. He played awful this year. Like, you didn't deserve to start. And there's a reason why they pick a quarterback in the second round. If you're supposed to be this franchise quarterback, there's a reason why they pick somebody behind him for insurance. Carson Wentz has been hurt. He stays hurt. They need to have a quality backup for when he's unavailable. And so they did that with Jalen Hurts. And as bad as Wentz played this year, the team wasn't any good. So why not get a young man a chance? And so he gets in, and he does his thing. Gives him an opportunity to sneak into the playoffs, take that division. Ultimately, they came up short, but Jalen, he brought another spark. He offers, some run support. He can run the ball a little bit. It gives him a whole other dynamic with him in the game. He seems to have a better rapport with the team. It just looked like they had a whole nother fire under him when he was in there. So, for Carson Wentz to come out and say, I have no desire of being a backup, boy, you performed like one, man. Like, that's just a level of, he's speaking from a level of privilege that's just, he don't deserve. He doesn't deserve that privilege to even speak in such a way. Like, dude, come on, man. Like, you must be crazy. Like, you must be crazy. If anybody else played like that, any black quarterback played to say such a thing, he'd be killed in the media. He'd tear him apart, and they'd be calling for that backup to start. We've seen it time and time again with many quarterbacks. Even with Donovan McNabb and Kevin Kolb. Like, Kevin Kolb, Donovan is he was a proven quarterback. But when they have somebody like Kevin Kolb behind them that they draft high, just like they drafted Jalen high, you'd be calling for that backup quarterback. It's plain and simple. RG3 and Kirk Cousins. They were calling for Kirk Cousins because RG3, when you draft a guy high, they're going to be calling for it. Period. And so if you don't perform, that's why you draft that other guy high like you do. Because ultimately you don't have that confidence in your quarterback to perform. And it's not without reason. Like, there's a reason why they don't have that level of confidence in you. It's because you haven't come through. You weren't the reason that you won that Super Bowl. I mean, you had a good year, but Foles is the one that brought the team the Super Bowl. Period. You can't change that. You were unavailable, so you didn't get to perform in that Super Bowl. That's nobody else's fault. It's unfortunate that you get hurt, but it is what it is. So there's a level of privilege that you cannot exercise right now. You weren't good enough. You looked bad. You got replaced. And your replacement did okay. Didn't look worse. Looked about the same. Period. And with those same weapons that you had, he did a little bit more with them. So you just got to live with it. Period. Period. So I was going to close out. Initially, my plan was to close out with the Carson Wentz topic, but being that there was some news that broke out today, which is Wednesday, at the Capitol. So your boy Trump, he just won't admit defeat. For whatever reason, I don't know. And so he goes to social media telling his supporters basically to pull up. As they're doing these, they're voting on these recounting these electoral votes. He basically tells his people to pull up. Now, Trump, you got to know that your people ain't got no sense. You're going to have all these people with no sense pull up and for a revolution. Dude, you lost. Like, the people voted you out. Like, come to grips with it, man. Grow up. It's like this man is oblivious to, like, things just don't. Anyway, so his people pull up. All his MAGA supporters, they pull up to the Capitol. And they just don't pull up and peacefully protest as some were trying to paint it as. These folks bust out windows, bust through the doors, and are just rummaging their way through the Capitol. Like, where they do that at? Where can you get away with that? That all these people bum rush through the Capitol while they're trying to count these electoral votes while everyone is in the building. And they have to tell them to bunker down, get under tables, get under desks, get behind. Like, this is what you want from your people? Like, there's a reason why you weren't voted as the president for 4 more years, sir. The people are tired of you. And it ain't just black folks. Like they've been showing pictures of like a new setup, like a hanging. And that depicts a lot of with black folks and white folks' relations. But my thing is, like, who y'all hanging? Because it ain't us. Sure, we cast our vote and a lot of us are tired of Trump, but like, y'all mad at yourself. That's your own people. That's your own people that voted you out. Like, let that sink in. Like, that ain't us. And like, if you want to try to get a reaction out of black folks for something that we really ain't got no horse in the race, we at home looking at y'all crazy. Like, this is really what y'all doing. Y'all really acting like this because you lost the presidential vote. You lost it. You weren't elected presidents. Like, why can't you come to grips with this? There's always a winner. There's a loser. Everybody can't win. And so for you to carry this on, have your people out here crashing the Capitol, busting in there, putting their feet on people's desks, kicked up, taking selfies with the officers. Like, you're just making a mockery of this, of your nation. You're making a mockery of it. And let these tables be turned. Right? There's a big group of white men and women crashing the Capitol. They have guns of their own. Where's the officers? Where's the police presence? They knew this was going down. It was known that they were going to be at the Capitol. Where was the preparation? But they want to say that they weren't prepared. You couldn't have no police force? Nothing, no National Guard? You reject the National Guard's help? That's what you do? When they're coming to peacefully protest? You don't prepare yourself for if things go south? But when there's a Black Lives Matter rally on the very same area, you got it down to the nines. You got the place around it. SWAT, National Guard, local police, every which way, every corner. for a peaceful protest. Never showed any signs of aggression. Just to come out and protest, speak our minds, try to be heard for the injustices that we've experienced since we've been here in this country, on this land. So for us to speak our minds, we have a police presence, get pushed down, tear gassed, shot at. But when this observation is clearly violent, you reject help. You tell the National Guard, no, don't come. We don't need you. We got it. But when they bust through those doors, there's one black officer that's trying to fend off this whole group, this whole mob of people. But you don't need help. For him to be chased up the stairs, but you don't need help. For him to have nothing but a stick on him. He has a stick to fend off these dozens of people that are coming up these steps behind him aggressively, but you don't need help. This is the picture that you're painting. You can't be blind to what you're doing. You know exactly what you're doing. You know exactly what this is showcasing. Those very same people that said blue lives matter to combat black lives matter, they're the ones that are charging after your police. But you don't need help. You don't need assistance. You don't need backup. But when we're just voicing our frustrations, you come at us with violence, right? And we're combating you with a purpose, with a reason. You've shown us how you want to treat us. You've shown us what you think of us, and we're saying that it's enough. We're not coming at you with guns. We're not coming at you armed. Why? Because we know we can't. Because we do the same things that they did today. You shoot us down. So we have to come at it with a different approach. But then when we see what you did today, and it's so obvious, it's unacceptable. Point blank period. It's unacceptable. But we're just going to sit back and watch and strategize. There's no need for us to act on anything. As we've been doing for years. We're looking at you. We're shaking our head. We know we can't depend on you for nothing. We know that. We've tried too many times. Quietly. Civilly. But nothing seems to work. And then we see things like this that discourage us even more. The fact that you just won't. The fact that you just won't do what's fair and right. It's beyond me. It's beyond me. Well, y'all, I want to thank you all for listening in to Unc's Corner. Once again, this is Roy Nelson. You can reach me in the podcast through all social media networks at Unc's Corner on Instagram and Twitter. That's Unc's Corner on Instagram and Twitter. And I'll be hollering at y'all next week. Y'all have a good one.